Have you ever wondered what it takes to transform a passion for justice into a seat at the nation's highest table? Welcome back to the iconic spot where we explore the lives of trailblazers who redefine possibility. Today we journey into the inspiring story of Rick Ross. This is the fortress of Rick Ross, the rap mogul whose lifestyle is as oversized as the beats in his songs, from lazy fishing afternoons and joy rides in a golf cart around the property to Star Island parties overlooking Biscayne Bay. Ross doesn't just live life. He performs it. Every house, every car, every diamond is a chapter in the ultimate self-made American dream. But before he became the man who can mow a lawn bigger than Central Park, Rick Ross was just a kid from Carol City, Florida, where it all began and where a legendary rap career was born. As a teenager, Ross was a standout football player at Miami Carol City Senior High. His athleticism earned him a scholarship to Albany State University in Georgia, where he studied criminal justice. But even then, music was quietly pulling him in a twist few would expect from one of hip-hop's most celebrated hustlers. Ross spent 2 years as a corrections officer in the mid-90s, a chapter that would resurface years later, sparking controversy, but never stopping his momentum. By the late 90s, he was making noise in Miami's underground rap scene under the name Teflon Dada, performing with the group Triple C's Carol City Cartel. The raw authenticity of his verses and his booming, authoritative delivery caught the attention of Miami legend Trick Daddy, and in 2002 Ross made a guest appearance on Trina's track. Told Y'all around this time, he rebranded himself as Rick Ross, borrowing the name from the infamous drug trafficker Freeway Rick Ross, a move that gave him the larger-than-life persona he wanted to project. Then came the breakthrough in 2006. His debut single, Hustling, exploded onto the airwaves. It's infectious. Every day, I'm hustling hook becoming a street anthem overnight. The buzz was so big that it sparked a bidding war among major labels, with Def Jam under Jay-Z's leadership, ultimately sealing the deal. His first album, Port of Miami, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, moving 187,000 copies in its first week. Ross doubled down with Trilla in 2008, another Billboard chart topper. And in 2009 he founded Maybach music group MMG, the label that would launch the careers of artists like Meek Mill, Whale, and Gunplay. Over the next decade, he released a string of critically acclaimed and commercially successful albums, from Teflon Don 2010 to God Forgives I Don't 2012 and Rather You Than Me 2017. But Ross's story isn't just about music. He's been a fixture in pop culture, from cooking alongside Martha Stewart on VH1 to headlining a crypto-themed event for Donald Trump in early 2025. He's built his brand as more than a rapper. He's a businessman, a cultural figure, and a master of turning moments into headlines. And while his discography and business ventures have cemented his status as one of the most successful figures in hip-hop, nothing tells the story of the biggest boss quite like the places he calls home, sprawling estates that redefine what it means to live large. Promised Land Ranch, Fayetteville, Georgia. If Rick Ross's life were a movie, the opening shot would be a slow aerial sweep over Promised Land, 235 acres of rolling Georgia countryside, with a mansion so massive it looks like it could host the Super Bowl halftime show inside the living room. Originally built for boxing legend Evander Holyfield, this 54,000 square foot estate became Ross's kingdom in 2014 when he scooped it up for $5.8 million a steal, considering the sheer scale of what he was getting. 6 years later, he expanded his dominion by dropping another $1 million for 87 more acres. At this point, his property isn't just a home, it's practically its own zip code. From the moment you pass through the wrought iron gates, the sense of arrival hits you. The driveway is so long and winding you could host a NASCAR qualifier on it. On either side, manicured lawns stretch out like a golf course, dotted with towering trees and the occasional grazing horse. It's a strange but perfect blend of Southern charm and Miami flash. Crash thing gone with the wind meets MTV Cribs. Step into the main house and it's clear this isn't just a rapper's crash pad. This is a palace with 109 rooms, yes, you heard that right, including 12 bedrooms, 21 bathrooms, a home theater, a bowling alley, a professional gym, and even a fully equipped recording studio. The marble floors gleam under chandeliers big enough to light up a basketball court, and the grand staircase practically demands you make a dramatic entrance every time you use it. The indoor pool feels like something out of a five-star resort, while outside the estate boasts one of the largest residential swimming pools in the entire country. How big? Let's just say if you started at one end and swam to the other, you'd probably need a snack break halfway through. Surrounding it are terraces perfect for throwing legendary parties. And Ross does exactly that, from his annual car shows to epic 4th of July celebrations that draw 1,000s. But Promised Land isn't just about luxury, it's about lifestyle. Ross has turned this estate into a fully functioning ranch. Stables house his prized horses, and he's been known to spend mornings feeding his cows and bison. He even hops on a tractor now and then to mow the lawn himself, a sight so unexpected it's become part of his social media legend, the biggest boss in a Versace robe riding a John Deere. Only at Promised Land, there's also a 4,000 square foot guest house for visiting friends, though guest house feels like an understatement. It's larger than most people's actual homes. Elsewhere on the property, you'll find a serene pond for fishing, multiple outbuildings for storage and events, and wide open pastures that make the place feel like a private national park. And just when you think you've seen it all, Ross finds a way to add more. In recent years, he's embraced boating, yes, on land with small watercraft on his pond, because apparently, even a lake in your backyard isn't complete without a fleet. And while this sprawling ranch is the heart of Ross's world, it's far from his only address, because when the boss wants ocean views, he heads south to a very different kind of paradise. Mansion in Star Island, Miami, tucked away on Miami's most exclusive patch of land, where a list neighbors range from NBA legends to music royalty. This waterfront palace is the very definition of coastal luxury. Ross secured the property in July 2023, dropping a cool $35 million and then reportedly spending another $20 million on renovations. The result, a 12,000 square foot statement piece perched on a 40,000 square foot lot with 100 feet of prime Biscayne Bay frontage. Around here, the view alone is worth millions, but Ross made sure the house matches the scenery. You approach the home via a wide paved driveway lined with towering palm trees, the kind that instantly tell you you've arrived somewhere special. A gated entrance opens to a facade anchored by a water fountain. The sound of trickling water setting the tone before you even step inside. The entry foyer is a jaw-dropper. 30-foot-high ceilings wrap around glass walls and a vaulted design that makes you feel like the ocean is part of the architecture. Step into the formal living room, and the double-height windows frame Biscayne Bay like a moving postcard. A custom mahogany and oak fireplace anchor the space, but your eyes inevitably drift to the terrace, where shaded seating flows seamlessly to the pool deck. The chef's kitchen is sleek yet functional, granite countertops, A massive center island and top-tier appliances ready for anything from a quick breakfast to a catered feast for 50 upstairs guest suites open to expansive terraces with either bay views or the glittering Miami skyline. The master suite is its own private retreat with floor-to-ceiling windows, direct pool access and a spa-worthy bathroom featuring a soaking tub, rainfall shower and finishes that scream. Custom build outside its pure Miami indulgence, a heated infinity edge pool with automated cleaning system, a summer kitchen with built-in bar and grill and a jetted hot tub tucked into a Japanese Zen garden. And because Ross doesn't do anything halfway, the property includes a 40-foot private dock with power and water hookups perfect for dock. Walking a luxury yacht or two from the quiet Georgia countryside to Miami's glittering coastline. Rick Ross has mastered the art of living large in any setting. But his empire isn't just about where he lives. It's also about how he moves and when it comes to getting around. The biggest boss travels in style on Four Wheels car collection. Rick Ross's garage isn't just a lineup of expensive machines. It's a gallery of stories, each car a chapter in his personal legend. Ferrari 488 Spider, $270,000. Ross calls the 488 Spider his Sunday morning escape the first time he drove it top-down along Miami's MacArthur Causeway. The sunrise painted the sky gold while the twin-turbo V8 roared behind his head like an Italian opera. Its sculpted curves aren't just for show. This thing rockets from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Friends who've ridden shotgun swear the soundtrack alone is worth the price tag. Mercedes-Benz, AMG, G63, a $160,000. The G-Wagon is Ross's everyday tank. He bought it for the combination of military toughness and leather-wrapped luxury. He still remembers rolling through Atlanta for the first time and its music blasting, sitting high enough to look over traffic like a king surveying his land with its growling AMG V8 and diamond-stitched seats. It's the perfect mix of brute force and velvet touch. Rolls-Royce Phantom, $490,000. The Phantom is Ross's quiet storm. He drove it for the first time to a business meeting in New York, and the moment the coach doors closed, the city noise vanished inside. The Starlight headliner glowed. The ride was smoother than a whispered secret, and it felt less like driving, more like floating. It's not just a car. It's a moving boardroom where million-dollar deals get sealed. Rolls-Royce Wraith, $340,000. When Ross wants speed without losing the Rolls Royce Grace, he reaches for the Wraith. He once took it on a late-night run down Ocean Drive, the V12 humming like a lullaby while the city lights slid across its fastback silhouette. It's powerful enough to thrill, refined enough for black-tie arrivals, the definition of a gentleman's muscle car. 1955 Chevy Bel Air, $130,000 among all the modern beasts. This candy-colored classic is Ross's time machine. He picked it up at an auction drawn by the chrome trim and the nostalgia of 1950s Americana. One summer evening, he took it for a slow cruise through Fayetteville, windows down, Motown playing on the radio. It doesn't race. It reminisces Lamborghini Aventador, $450,000. The Aventador is pure theater. Ross's first spin was at his own car show on Promised Land. He revved the V12, and the crowd erupted like it was a concert encore, low, wide, and unapologetically loud. It's the car he chooses when he wants to be heard before he's seen. Every press of the throttle is a reminder that subtlety has no place here, but sometimes even the finest cars can't take you far enough. And that's when the biggest boss heads for the runway private jet in April 2023. The biggest boss made one of his most boss moves yet, purchasing a 2012 Gulfstream G5. 150 for nearly $20 million, registered under the fitting name Maybach Air LLC. The jet is less an aircraft and more a penthouse that flies the first time Ross boarded as its owner. It wasn't to perform or to close a deal. It was to take his kids on a private trip to the Bahamas. Inside, cream leather seats recline into full beds. Polished wood panels gleam under soft lighting, and the galley is stocked with Luc Belaire and bamboo rum. Outside the window, the coastline shrank to a thin line as the jet climbed smoothly above the clouds. With a range of over 6,700 nautical miles, the G550 can connect Miami to Dubai without stopping. For Ross, it's more than convenience. It's freedom, no TSA lines, no waiting lounges, just the ability to wake up in Georgia and have lunch in Paris. And just like his cars, the jet isn't just transportation. It's an extension of the lifestyle. Style, a stage for making an entrance even at 40,000 feet. But if you think the luxury stops here, wait until you see how Rick Ross spends on the kinds of things most people wouldn't believe. Absurd expenditures. Take the gold key pendant, not a symbol of a car but of his status, crafted entirely from solid gold and studded with diamonds. Price tag around $25,000 for Ross. It's not just jewelry. It's a declaration that he holds the keys to his own kingdom. Then there's the diamond-encrusted basketball, a sparkling tribute to the Miami Heat's 75th anniversary. No one dribbles it. Of course, it lives like a crown jewel in his collection, estimated to be worth tens of 1,000s. But the piece de resistance might be the custom self-portrait pendant, an iced-out miniature of his own face worth over $1 million. The level of detail is staggering, right down to the tiny diamond sunglasses made by his go-to jeweler Johnny Dang. Its bling so bold it borders on performance art. Ross's watch collection is a masterclass in excess. His Rolex Day-Date President shines in yellow gold with a diamond set dial valued at around $70,000. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, in his rotation, fetches about $130,000, but it's the big hitters that really show his taste. A Richard Mille Abu Dhabi with a sapphire case and blue accents. $600,000. A Jacob & Co. Mystery Tourbillon featuring rotating diamond discs. $1.3 million. And the crown jewel, a Richard Mille billionaire Ashoka encrusted with over 500 sapphires, reportedly worth $2 million. And as over the top as these purchases may seem, they're just one side of the equation. Because behind the flash and sparkle lies a man whose empire brings in serious cash, enough to fund not just these luxuries but a legacy. Which brings us to the numbers that make it all possible: income and net worth. $150 million. That's the estimated net worth of Rick Ross in 2025, a number that says as much about his hustle as it does about his taste for Versace robes and 235-acre lawns. But this empire didn't happen overnight. It's the result of a career built like a luxury high-rise foundation. First, then floor after floor of smart moves. The biggest cornerstone, music. Back in 2006, when hustling took over the airwaves, Ross wasn't just selling singles, he was branding a persona. That song kicked off a streak of chart-topping albums and high-grossing tours, each one pouring millions into his accounts. Then came Maybach Music Group. His label launched in 2009. It wasn't just a vanity project, it was a star factory, signing talents like Meek Mill and Whale. Turned MMG into a cash-generating machine, with Ross earning not only as an artist, but as a label boss, collecting on every success story he helped create. But the smartest money, that's in chicken wings. Ross's investment in more than 25 Wingstop franchises became legendary in hip-hop business circles. He tells the story of how he bought his first location after falling in love with their lemon pepper wings, then turned that craving into a $500,000 a month revenue stream. Add a Checkers drive-thru in Miami to the mix, and you've got fast food feeding a fortune. He didn't stop at food. Ross became the face of Luc Belaire champagne, his bottle-popping image boosting sales across the U.S. He poured the same influence into Bumbu Rum and McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin, drinks that now feel inseparable from his brand. And when cannabis became big business, he co-created Collins Avenue with Cookies, staking his claim in a billion-dollar industry. Ross's entrepreneurial eye even reached tech, investing $1 million into JetDoc, a digital healthcare platform. The deal wasn't just about money, it was about future-proofing his portfolio with ventures that could outlast music trends. Add to that more than 17 brand partnerships, from Reebok to Rap Snacks, and an Instagram following of over 20 million, turning sponsored posts into six-figure paydays, and you start to see how the biggest boss keeps his accounts flush. But if you think all that wealth is just for show, think again, because Rick Ross, boss, also knows how to make his fortune work for others. Over the years, the biggest boss has used his fortune to create opportunities, strengthen communities, and keep essential services alive. Philanthropy. One of his signature efforts is the Boss Up Grants, a program that provides funding to entrepreneurs looking to scale their businesses. In 2024, Ross auctioned off rare items from his personal collection, including custom jewelry and luxury clothing, with the proceeds going directly to these grants. In partnership with the Creative Collective NYC in June 2023, when the Fayette Care Clinic in Georgia faced closure, Ross stepped in with a $30,179 donation to keep its doors open. The clinic serves low-income and uninsured residents, making the difference between treatment and going without care. Ross has also rolled up his sleeves for Southern Crescent Habitat for Humanity, helping build a home for a local veteran in 2020 and working with families to improve financial literacy. His giving isn't limited to the U.S. In Lagos, Nigeria, he supported projects in underserved communities, earning local recognition for his contributions every back-to-school season. Ross funds programs in Florida that provide supplies and opportunities for at-risk youth, and in partnership with Magic Johnson's Burger King restaurants, he hosted the first ever Rick Ross Day Out dedicated to youth engagement and community support. And while his charitable work speaks volumes about his values, the most personal side of Rick Ross's life isn't measured in donations or public events. It's found in the people closest to him. Personal life beyond the stage lights and luxury. Rick Ross's most treasured role is that of a father. He has 5 children: Toy Roberts, William Roberts III, Berkeley Hermes Roberts Billion, Leonard Roberts, and his youngest, Bliss. Each child comes from a different chapter of his life. Toy with Lastonia Leviston, William III with Tia Kemp and Berkeley Billion, and Bliss with longtime girlfriend Brianna Camille. Ross's romantic life has had its share of headlines too. In 2015, he was briefly engaged to model Lyra Galore Mercer, a relationship that sparked endless gossip before quietly ending. Through it all, Ross has leaned on his faith, openly sharing that he prays before every performance and credits God for guiding him through his career's highs and lows. Health scares have also tested him, from 2 seizures in one day in 2011 to being placed on life support in 2018 after a suspected heart attack. Each time he's bounced back, reshaping his lifestyle and doubling down on his ambitions. For fans, Rick Ross is the biggest boss, but for those closest to him, he's a man who survived challenges, celebrated victories, and built a life on his own terms. And it's in that balance between the public spectacle and the private moments that his story truly comes to life. And now, as we close the gates of Promised Land and step away from the diamond-studded details, it's time to leave you with one last thought. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our channel Iconic Spot for more celebrities update.